I'm like, dude, that's fine, but there's 1,000 people offering that.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you're gonna struggle.
And so he's already drowned out a bit by the competition. He can do it, but it's gonna be harder.
I know, exactly. And what was funny is I've hired someone and we're gonna be offering baby massage. I'm like, you're offering baby massage and you haven't told me. That is the most niche thing in this whole area. I wanna go back to this question, right? Okay, so you've got a business, they figured out this way of getting themselves exposure in the local space by talking about something very specific that they can solve. But why the hell do they deserve to be number one? Just because they figured out this marketing thing?
Well, I mean, think about it, right? It's like, if you want to be number one
Yeah, but that sounds like, again, they're doing the same thing as the corporations. They're not buying their way to the top, but they're almost manipulating their way to the top if they figure out this content strategy, which we've seen.
Arguably, yeah. It's like, what's the difference between vitamin C product A and vitamin C product B that both don't contain this? The difference is that one company realized that people want this without a certain ingredient, and they're the ones that wrote about it. So they might not be the best, but they're the ones that talked about it. And so if you want to find that product, you might be spending 2 hours because you're trying to go through all these different ones. But if you're the company that says, hey, we don't have that included, then you've actually helped people because you've allowed them to find
I think
what you're getting.
I think I know what you're saying, because we've traveled extensively together building our businesses, and we've gone to some random places, right? And we've had to spend weeks and weeks there, as you know. And we like to eat well, we like to find the good spots. And now I'm thinking, actually, the places we've Googled all around the world that we've had to eat and dine and have breakfast at, whatever, the spots that were good, we went back to.
Yeah.
The spots that were healthy, that actually delivered on what they said they delivered, we went baake to.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what other people are going to do. I'm just thinking about that now, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't, we were like, well, screw that. They said they were organic. Then there's not a single thing here that's organic other than the owner.
Yeah, right? It's like you want to go get a smoothie, but you want a vegan smoothie, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's hard to find a smoothie place which is doing maybe like vegan protein or something.
Right.
And so that's frustrating because you can't find it, and then you're wasting time going to a place which might not have what you want.
Which we've done.
Whereas if they put out an article and you're like searching for like vegan smoothie Santa Monica, which is like, we've done stuff like that, right? Because there's certain types of food we want to have.
Yeah.
Right, it could be like gluten-free pizza, something like that. A lot of restaurants serve gluten-free pizza, but they've never said about it or talked about it online.
Right.
And so it's actually really hard to find like which options. It's like we want to get a grass-fed steak.
100%.
Right? But it's like, which restaurant has that? It's like, do I want to go to a restaurant and look at the menu and spend the 20, 30 minutes going there to find out they don't have what I need, right?
Of course, and then you don't want it anyway. And we've traveled, I remember 40 minutes in a cab sometimes just to get to that grass-fed place.
Yeah.
And the times when you get there and they're like, oh, sorry, we've stopped doing that. Like, let's say there's two restaurants, we're deciding between the two. They're both about 30, 40 minutes away, right? I mean, in the US, it's quite easy. In the UK, you could probably get to the other side of the country in that time. Right, in the US you can't. You like literally move one road to the other. But the fact is, when you're hitting these restaurants, and when we've actually done this, right? So I'm happy we're talking about it. When you get there and you had a choice between the two, right? And you end up going to one where they're not serving it anymore, or that it's not very good. Like we're not going to leave a good review, are we?
Well, like exactly right.
And we're never going to go back.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be saying that you can't put out an
article
article
saying it pisses you off because it's like we're training, we're working hard, we're stressed because we're doing a lot of work, and we want to just get that grass-fed damn steak, and we get there and they don't deliver it. And then what are we going to do? We're not going to leave favorable reviews, and we're never going to go there again. That's this light bulb moment for me, because that's what happens the world over with the smallest businesses through to some of the biggest. I mean, it's just constant.
Yeah, I mean, in most cases, when a business advertises they have something, they usually have it, right?
Well, they do, but I'm talking about the quality as well. So again, this is answering my own question through talking to you. You're like the oracle, which is great. It's like therapy is brilliant, SEO therapy. No, but the fact is, the reason why a business, rather than, you can buy your way to the top, but what you cannot do is manipulate your way to the top, because ultimately these signals
you're going to be found out. And if you try and say you've got something and you haven't got it,
you're going to drop down.
Yeah, it's Google, like if we went somewhere, they said they got grass-fed steak, they don't, we're probably going to leave a bad review, right? Because they falsely advertised it. But the place which does deliver,
but this is what
we're
I mean.
going to leave a good review.
And who's good, and who goes out their way, actually renders that good service in their community, bam, they're going to get, they're going to grow.
So a lot of this is just letting people know what you actually have. And most businesses don't do that.
They don't even
They have a generic site, right? Or they sell a product online, they write a few little lines about what it is, but it's like, there's so many things that it has and doesn't have, right? Different colors, all sorts of different features and everything that they could write about, which people are specifically looking for. Okay, and that's where it's like connecting, like it's writing an article which connects with what people actually want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're working with a physio right now as one of our customers. I won't go into depth about it, but ultimately the physio and the chiropractor, he's got both going on. And what's interesting, and you know about this, we've done really well for him and he's happy and stuff like that. But what I couldn't believe is he's like, right, I want sports massage in a certain area in London. And he just kept battering away at that. I'm like, dude, that's fine, but there's 1,000 people offering that.
Yeah.
Right? And he's near Chelsea football stadium. I mean, come on, it's a sporting area. You're gonna struggle.
And so he's already drowned out a bit by the competition. He can do it, but it's gonna be harder.
I know, exactly. And what was funny is he treats me a lot because my back's a bit busted, as you know. And he's treating me, I'm on his treatment table, and as we're just talking, we're shooting the breeze, and he goes, oh yeah, I'm opening up this new, and I'm like, yeah, what's the room next door, you're renovating it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what's happening with that? And he's like, oh, I've hired someone and we're gonna be offering baby massage. I'm like, you're offering baby massage and you haven't told me. Like, that is the most niche thing in this whole area versus sports massage. What the hell is wrong with you? Obviously he doesn't understand. So my frustration
it's like, so you have something that other people don't have.
Well,
right? As long as there's demand for it.
Yeah, but you're talking about it is the point, right? If you're offering a baby massage, right? As in for women who are pregnant, apparently it's a thing, right? And also I think after they give, I'm not too sure about the details, but that's something which people are going to be very specific.
He wouldn't be setting up a room for it if there wasn't people that wanted it, right?
100%, but he hadn't mentioned to me that he
hadn't told anyone, right? He had it. He might have had posters. He might tell it to pregnant women who come in, but he's not putting it out there for people to be able to find.
He's not creating a piece of content around it, and he's bashing his head against the wall about sports massage.
Yeah,
right. When he could just be, just dusting that off.
And even with the sports massage, it's like, okay, sports massage, great, but what about a specific injury? What about like massage or sports treatment for bad knees, right?
Or hamstrings, it's like ankles, or
athletes are always hurting their knees. They're always got these specific injuries.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know, like, I remember you showed me like hamstring injury, right?
Yeah.
It's like you've got clients before, like up there because you've written about the fact that the physio provides hamstring injury treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Or these other like sciatica pain, things like this, these very specialist things.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have a hamstring injury and it's really, really bugging you and you've been to a physio, you haven't got the results that you wanted, and this person can potentially solve that for you. And if they've written about it and they talked about how they specialize in that and what they do, which one are you going to go to? The one that never said anything about it, or the one that said, I can solve your specific problem?
Absolutely. And another problem I've had, it's just my list of my problems, right? I'm just pouring it all out. But do you remember when I had that back problem?
Right.
Like it was really bad in America. We were in, I think, Arizona. Yeah. And I was like, Chris, get on my back and just push the top down. Yeah. You're like, I don't know if I should be doing this. And I had to go to that chiropractor a few times just to sort of, be able to mobilize and walk around and just do everything. But when I got back, I realized actually it was a chronic problem, and it was a very specific thing. I can't even remember what it's called, but something like connects to the lower back, and it wasn't actually sciatica. It was a nerve that was deep in like the glutes, and it was a very specific term.
Yeah. And once you knew that term, what are you going to do?
I'm googling the hell out of it. I'm googling the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And finally,
and Mr. Google's like, I know what you need. I
know what you need.
It's like, hey, there's this guy here that's written about this specific problem in London. It's like, you go to this guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Google's going to do.
Yeah, and then I'm going to keep going there, talk to other people about it. Google's tracking my phone, my reviews, I'm phoning the guy.
And the thing is, it's like, okay, you went there for that specific problem, but you also provided lots of votes because you called up the person,
right?
You went into their place, Google's seeing all of this. And so every time they do this, and they do it maybe for a few different products and services and problems that they solve, that then they start getting more and more of these signals, and they become more and more popular, and everything else then starts to become easier. And there's this tipping point that Google at some point goes, this business is getting quite popular. Let's push them up and give them more exposure in general.
Right.
And we've seen this where all of a sudden, these local businesses and these online stores, it's like suddenly they're flooded, just like overnight, where Google said, this business has something that people are interested in. It's popular. It's like it lets them into the club.
Well, we've seen them double or triple, literally double or triple
overnight. It's crazy,
which is mad. I mean, and for the right business, that's incredible. Hey, thanks for watching. And to learn more about AmpiFire, check out the links below, subscribe for more videos, and of course, don't forget to hit the notification bell. See you on the inside.